Right, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Koi sauce, what's up? What's up? Congratulations, by the way, on winning those koozies. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. So, what do y'all want to chat about? Tom will be joining us here in a few, very shortly. Yeah, he will be here. He missed last time, so yeah. I want to get into what we want to see from Oklahoma tomorrow. I think that'll be a big one. Does Hurts get back on track tomorrow with a 600-yard performance? Yes, I think probably, or something thereabout. Hopefully he doesn't turn the ball over. I think that was a little rough, but everybody's going to turn the ball over. It's just one of those things. To expect him to go an entire season without making some sort of, mistake like that, I think that was pretty silly, or that would be pretty silly if anybody had actually done that. Hello all, out at dinner, but thought I would check in. Awesome. Thanks, Prof. Thanks for checking in. Does Hurts play all 4 quarters? I say probably not, no. I don't think... How many games has Rattler played?
2.
He's played 2?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tom.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing?
Doing all right. Had some goddamn Windows updates on this thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, what'd I miss?
Oh, nothing.
This and Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever that was.
Oh, we got into some stuff on Wednesday. Golly. There is something wrong with my microphone.
Sure it's not mine?
No, it's not you. You're good.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get the levels right. Ooh. It's picking me up.
A little hot?
Yeah. I think it's a little loud. I'm going to try to get this fixed. Yeah, we got into, things from the OU Texas game. We got into, yeah, it was a good game.
I'll just give you my, it'll be quick hits on all these topics.
Okay.
OU Texas, good.
Nice. We got into top 4 teams. Like if it happened right now, who would be in?
Top 4 teams right now. Ohio State.
Yep.
No one from the Pac-12. I think Oklahoma's probably there. I think we're probably looking at maybe 3 teams for the other 2 spots. LSU, Alabama, and Clemson.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, I think it could be any of those 3.
Yeah. I think I went with right now LSU.
Over Bama or over Clemson?
Well, we kind of posed it. We kind of posed it as as who do you think will be. So
Will be and right now are two different things.
yeah, no, that was my bad. I think that's how we worded it. Because I had
So
Clemson in because I don't think Clemson's not making
okay,
it. So
will be at the end of the season.
yeah,
Yeah, Clemson for sure. Ohio State, Clemson, Oklahoma, and then Alabama.
yeah, yeah. Um, Hopefully I sound all right. My thing's being weird. I can't tell, you know, the levels. It's acting up. So
You're
let
not
me know
you're not
if it's too
you're
loud or
not too
whatever.
you're not too hot on my end.
Okay, cool deal. I'll leave it alone then. Um, let's see. I hope Austin Kendall plays. I know their coach said he was going to go. I think it'd be fun. You know, I think I saw a tweet that kind of summed it up best. I wish the best for Austin Kendall, except for tomorrow. I hope he throws 3 interceptions and we win by 60 or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all.
LSU gets pushed out after Bama spanks them. Ooh.
Be on vacation in the Caribbean, but they have a sports bar on the cruise ship, so I'll try and catch the game.
Nice.
First world problem.
Yeah, for real. First world problems. Do you think there will be any hangover from last week's win? Historically, Oklahoma, or at least in recent years, has had no such hangover. Oklahoma, I think, averages like since Lincoln Riley's been calling plays, or since he's been here, they average something like 560 yards of offense, and they're.
I think historically going back, I've got no numbers on this, but historically going back to the Stoops era, the week after Texas is usually pretty good to Oklahoma.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it also helps that usually they're playing some trash team the week after Oklahoma, or the week after Texas, so.
Some other Big 12 team.
What do you think of? We talked a little bit last time about the Texas-Kansas game. What do you think of that game?
Oh, Kansas, 3 touchdowns. Easy.
I think I said I'm not saying Kansas is going to win, but I am going to say that it's going to be they're going to cover. I think
like 20 on that.
Yeah, something like that. I think they're going to cover because I don't think, like, one, Texas defense is bad, and 2, I think they're going to get better. Kansas is going to get better offensively with the change they made. The guy that got promoted to offensive coordinator is apparently the godfather, the inventor, the main man of the RPO. And so, yeah. So I think they're going to give Texas a little scare.
Well, a couple of weeks ago when they made that change, they did that like the Monday after the Oklahoma game. Like Kansas, fires their defensive or offensive coordinator, gets a new one. It's like, holy shit, Oklahoma's defense did that to them.
Yeah.
That was a strong 4.
It's one of them home pours. Weird to type this, but both those teams' defenses look suspect. Bama has a lot of injuries, but that one is going to be a shootout. I agree. Bama's defense isn't the Bama defense of old, and like you said, I think that's mostly due to injuries. But also there's
the
this.
Injuries, they're starting a lot of freshmen, which is going to be terrible for the rest of college football here in 2 years when those freshmen are juniors. But when it comes to that Alabama LSU game, it goes back to what you've been saying over the last couple of weeks when it comes to coaching. Which coach is going to go out there and win you the ball game or get you there? And Nick Saban's going to do that, I think, over Ogeron or.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to something like that, it's like all things being equal, that's the kicker, right?
Yeah.
When the players are doing all they can, and something needs to happen to actually win the ball game.
Dare I say X Factor? Dare.
We've got a Kansas by 12. Koi sauce.
Where's the game at?
Austin.
Oh, then I take back what I said. It's going to be Kansas by 28.
I saw somebody griping about now they have a conflict whether to watch the Astros or whether to watch Texas play football. And I was like, if they didn't put this game on if the Longhorn Network didn't exist, then this game would be at like noon or 2:30. You wouldn't have a problem.
Exactly.
We gonna get a scoregami this time, Tom?
Are we going to? Probably not. I don't know if the math is there for it, but so probably not.
Let's see. Something in the range. We could do there's never been a 57-9.
Is this the Kansas game you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about OU West Virginia.
57-9.
57-9. Or possibly 53-8.
Hey, there you have it. The only post-Texas loss in the Stoops-Riley era, 2014. 31-30.
Wow.
Kansas State.
Goddamn Kansas State. They're always doing shit like that.
Did we miss a field goal at the end of that? Is that game?
Maybe. What kicker would that have been? 2014? Cunningham? What about a 61-9? That's never happened either.
Sure. I mean, 9, that 9 sounds pretty amazing. I don't care if it's 10, 12, 112.
Oh, yeah. That'd be great. $58-15. Maybe that one.
That would also be acceptable. 69-1. There you go.
There we go. Let's see if that's ever happened before.
If I had to guess, I would guess
no. Correct. It has not happened. One of the teams scoring 1 point has happened. Oof. We'll see. A few times. There's been 2 1-1 ties. There's been 9 2-1s. There's been 3 3-1s, 4 4-1s, 3 5-1s. There's been a 9-1, a 14-1, a 23-1, a 35-1. That's the highest something to 1 there's ever been.
All right, you want to explain how to get the 1 point again?
So I think this was different back in the day. I think there was a different rule back in like the 1870s or whatever. But currently, you can score 1 point by even one of 2 ways. If your team is trying for an extra point, and you somehow get backed up all the way to your own end zone and are tackled for a safety, then the other team gets 1 point. That's never happened. The other way, the way that happens every once in a while, is if you are defending an extra point and somehow you recover the ball outside of your end zone and are tackled inside of your end zone for a safety, then the other team gets 1 point. I didn't know any of this until like a week ago when I read that. Because I was just going to, in my scoregami chart, I was just going to delete the 1 rows. Because I was like, can't score 1 point in football. Turns out, by God, you can.
I don't know if you missed it, but it's Rev up in this place.
Rev. Up in this piece.
Piece. Oh, I should learn to read.
Probably. Probably help with your job in media.
Any basic defense comment from Kendall this week? I think he learned his lesson on that one. Also, I think we would have had it by now.
Yeah.
But I think your shit talking game kind of goes down when you're kind of injured and may not even play.
And you're on a different team because you couldn't play as well as the other quarterbacks and left. And the last time you did it, you got your shit pushed in.
Yeah, there's some factors there. Yeah,
there's lots going into this. I think Texas is I'm reading Jesse James. It'll be interesting to see how Texas responds this week. Already with 2 L's, will they fold? I think they're in a bad spot. I mean, you've got 2 losses. You're essentially, in the year with so much hype, so much we're back, like Sam Ellinger, like we're back. Ooh, thanks for the subscription, Koi Sauce. Bask in this Boomer Sooner.
It's we got a question here. How real is Baylor? And kind of piggybacking on that, what's Texas going to do? I've seen bowl projections that now has Baylor going to the Sugar Bowl.
Really?
In place of Texas.
Oof.
And so a game that didn't cross anybody's mind, in the preseason or even leading up to this week, and probably won't even do it leading up to the week of that game, is Baylor, Texas.
Yeah.
Because nobody. I don't think I think people expected Baylor to be a pretty decent football team. After the turnaround they did, the 1-11 to 7-6 or whatever. But I don't think anybody expected them to be 6-0 at this point. And I would think maybe the presumptive number 2 in the Big 12 right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think they are the number 2 in the Big 12 right now. I think their undefeated bubble is about to burst, but maybe not this week, but very soon. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we talked about a little, I think, in the preview shows that we were doing before the season started. We talked a little bit about, how Texas is going to, if they're going to make a college football playoff run. We talked about that game being maybe a stumbling point, at Waco. But nobody knew that could be as pivotal as it seems to be now. Tom, you got your Dallas Renegades season tickets yet?
I'm waiting for payday next week.
Yeah.
As soon as I do that, I'm getting some of those $85 sideline passes or whatever they're going for. Oklahoma plays Baylor the 16th of November. Just looking at schedules here.
So Oklahoma go to Waco too?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Texas takes on Baylor the 23rd.
Yeah, that might be man. Baylor could implode, or Baylor could be, right up there with in the playoff conversation in, a month from now,
Yeah.
depending on how that goes.
Tomorrow's a real big game. Oklahoma State and Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier in the season, I jumped on the Oklahoma State bandwagon, and I think they've still got a real good football team. With that game being in Stillwater, that's going to be a real test for Baylor.
Yeah, I think so. I think Baylor's gotten away with a couple. I mean, one literally gotten away with due to the refs, but, well, probably gotten away with. But you know what I mean. Like, they've kind of escaped.
Going to issue a public reprimand of you for saying that right now.
Yeah, probably. But, that's what I meant by, like, their kind of undefeated bubble's gonna burst. They've escaped too many times. And Oklahoma State just coming off of a butt whipping, they're gonna be out for blood. That might be a buzzsaw they're running into in Stillwater.
So something I didn't realize until today was that Minnesota was undefeated.
Yes. They're the RPO Kings to this point. They're killing it.
That struck me as odd.
I don't think they're getting through Wisconsin.
I don't think they're getting through Rutgers tomorrow at 2:30.
Come on, man.
Well, they got Penn State, Iowa, in the couple of weeks leading into Wisconsin. They finish with Wisconsin.
They finish with Wisconsin?
Mm-hmm.
Whew, that'll be tough, because if they do make it through there, they're coming up against Ohio State or Penn State or something. Yeah, Vector, Wisconsin is legit. Wisconsin's allowing 3 yards per play. And they have 4 shutouts already.
I think they've got as many touchdowns defensively as they have touchdowns allowed. Something
Golly. Like that. That's crazy. I heard
wrong on that, but
well, they're the first team to go to have in their first 6 games 4 shutouts since like the 60s.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Northwestern's on their way to losing this game pretty good, and they're going to drop to 1-5. What are we going to do in a world where Northwestern's not 8-4?
What are we going to do in a world?
I mean, as far as I know, Northwestern is 8-4 every year since like 1996 or something. They've probably finished 8-4 once.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Who do you like, TCU and Kansas State this weekend?
Oh, those are both bad teams. TCU probably. I'm like the White Claw girl. The I don't know. Give me at Kansas State, give me KSU. Those are not great teams. But the thing is, like, TCU has the pieces to be good offensively. They're just kind of not. Yeah, KSU's defense plays well at home.
UCLA win last night?
I don't know. I didn't finish it. I was watching baseball.
Oh, have we talked baseball yet?
Not anything past the dilemma that one person was having.
UCLA did win, 34-16. Beat Stanford.
UCLA, officially good win.
They're still 2-5. Stanford is now 3-4. so I wouldn't exactly put it in that category.
Stanford is terrible this year. Oklahoma Predator. They are baddies. Also, got Chafu and Philium.
Well, hold on.
Thanks to the follows.
Hold on. UCLA's 2-2 in conference. Utah and USC and Arizona State are all tied in Arizona at 2-1. So they could make a run at that conference, or at least that division.
Jeez, that's wild. Pac-12.
You want to hear the Pac-12 North standings?
Yes, always.
Oregon 3-0 always. And I'm just gonna send you this update every day. That hadn't changed for a week. Oregon 3-0. Washington 2-2. Stanford 2-3. Cal 1-2. Oregon State 1-2. Washington State 0-3.
Wow. Thanks for the follow, Rev. Thanks for the follow up in this piece. Remember to follow and subscribe. If you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe for free. Should be at the top of your screen. We would appreciate it. Helps us do what we do. But yeah, Washington State 0-3 in conference. That's surprising. I would have thought they would have been,
Better.
Yeah. Maybe not like, pushing for a shot at the conference, but not 0-3. Not getting whipped by everyone.
Well, they were on the losing end of that wild UCLA game. I guess I'd forgotten that.
I just know whatever they're doing, they need to keep doing it because that their quarterback is my fantasy quarterback. So
Washington State?
Yeah. I mean, even in losses, that dude pulls down like 40 fantasy points. So.
Well, I think you need to fix the rest of your team because you're like middle of the pack right now.
Yeah, I know. Shut up, Tom.
I'm like 2-5. I think I've had a new tight end the last 4 weeks because they've hit by, and I'm like, all right, I guess this guy's not on my team anymore.
Yep. See ya. Well, they are fat, lazy, and entitled, Vector says.
ACC or Pac-12, who's the worst football conference?
ACC. And I don't think it's necessarily close. But if we want some actual hard numbers...
We do.
Let me pull this up real fast. If you go by average S&P Plus rating.
SP Plus.
Yes, SP Plus. Sorry. My B. Average SP Plus. Then it goes as follows. SEC is first at 12.6. Big 12 second at 12.3.
Whoop whoop.
Big 10 third at 12.2.
Yeah.
Pac-12 a little bit of a drop off here. Pac-12 at 8.4 and ACC at 4.5. So
do you have any of the like mid majors? I guess they're not mid majors in football, are they?
Yeah, the next is the American at
Group
2.
of 5.
Yeah, at 2.2 or 2.3. Next is Mountain West, Sun Belt, Conference USA, Mid American, all under 0.
Maybe to me it's just that the Pac-12 is just so funky how everyone beats everyone.
Yeah. And, some of this is weird because different, conferences have different number of teams. Mm-hmm. So you could do this a bit of a different way. You could let's see. You could take just the top 10 teams. Like, what's the average among the top 10 teams? That way it's the same size across the board.
I don't like that. I don't like that at
all. If you do that, then the SEC is first at 17.8, Big 10 17.3, Big 12 12.3, obviously because there's only 10 teams. Pac-12 10.2, ACC 6.2, and then the American like right behind them at 6 even. So top chunk of teams in your conference. The American is knocking at the door of the ACC. American actually jumps ACC if you do the top 5.
Yeah, I don't like any of that.
Why not?
I mean, if you're gonna be like, yeah, my conference is the best, like, your conference took 14 teams, like, it's not our fault that the bottom 4 suck. Like,
no, yeah, but it's a way of, like, kind of normalizing it, right? Like, I don't know. It's just one way to look at it.
I get what you're going for. I don't like it, but who the hell am I?
Let's see. What do we got in the chat here? Looks like ACC is getting dunked on pretty good.
They brought it upon themselves, so.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. It's not going to be an AC team that gets Clemson. It's going to be Wofford, for real.
Ooh, Wofford. That's an in-state rivalry, right?
The Terriers?
They're like required by law to play Wofford every year or something, aren't they? There's something.
Probably.
There's something stupid like that.
The Iron Bowl, they have to play that game every year by Alabama state law.
I can see that.
Like, if they don't, they don't get funds appropriated to them or some shit. It was wild as I was reading. I'm like, no way this is a real thing. But as far as ACC team with a chance, hell, I don't know.
Hell, I can't find it. To hell with it.
The hell with it.
I was listening to ESPN News Serious Monday morning, and Greg McElroy said that Jalen Hurts will be a liability moving forward for OU if they make it into the playoff. Why the hate from a former Bama QB who was really average at best himself? Yeah, I don't get where he's coming from, but also Greg McElroy can suck butt. Like, that guy, and it's not really the things, like, the points he makes. It's that he only speaks in, like, sports talk cliche. Like, nothing he says is original. It's like a cobbled together, bits and pieces from analyst sound bites.
If you fed like a bot a bunch of like sports cliches, like it would just spit something out and it would be exactly what Greg McElroy says.
Oh yeah, you could 100% make a Greg McElroy bot that sounds exactly like him with like machine learning or something. 100%. I don't know, what does that even mean? Like, what was the point? How will he be a liability? He's been nothing but great so far.
Even in his off games, it's still.
Well, we talked about that. I think right before you got on. He had a couple of he had a bad decision on the interception. He fumbled the ball, but like to expect somebody to go through an entire season and that never happen. Mm-hmm. That's stupid. That doesn't happen. It was going to happen at some point. You can, like, attribute it to it being a big game, I guess, if you want, but I don't know.
Sometimes you're just trying to force something, which I think is what that interception was, and that was just poor ball handling. I think
Yeah.
on the fumble, the guy got him just right. Glug glug glug.
Glug glug.
McElroy, Colin Coward, celebrity boxing. Who you got?
Ooh. I saw Cowherd standing next to Hulk Hogan. I'm taking Coward. He's fucking big, apparently.
There's all camera tricks. What are the size of Coward's pythons? Anybody hears that out of context?
Soundbite. That should be the sound that plays when somebody follows.
2.2 inches. What?
What are the size of Coward's pythons?
Rather learn from mistakes now instead of later. Yeah, I suppose.
I don't know. I don't know that he's learning anything at this point. I think it was just a. I mean, it's a big game, big moment. You know, he tried to press it a little bit. I'm sure he's made them before, and I'm sure the most seasoned quarterback makes those. I mean, Tom Brady does that sometimes, right?
Throws interceptions.
It's not like Tom Brady's gone like the last 10 years without throwing a dumb interception. So.
No, we'll have to go back and check the videotape on that. That being said, those two interceptions the two turnovers that he had, I think if you put the Oklahoma defense from last year on that field, Oklahoma loses that game by 14.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. With the kind of like unlucky breaks, like the turnovers in the red zone, you return the ball over twice in the red zone. With last year's defense, there's no way you're not beating anybody, much less a big Texas team like that, right? In a big game.
We'll never admit it. Jalen felt Red River Showdown. He's pumped after the game. Never shows that kind of emotion. He can compare it to the Iron Bowl he wants. It's different. Disagree.
They were talking about that today on the franchise. They were like, they took pictures of him and they actually showed him actually smiling because it was creepy just to see it. I didn't know what it would look like. But yeah, I think you're right. I think he, did his thing. He did his, oh, it's just another game. I've been in big spots. I think I'll be okay. But I think you're right. I think he enjoyed and was pleasantly surprised by the experience. Yeah. I mean, how many rivalries do they have that have a huge trophy ceremony in the middle of the game in a season, or a game in the middle of the season? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's just a cool deal. It's in a neutral site. It's it's not on anybody's turf. It's this whole other separate thing. Rat poison.
You want to know the real rat poison? I just came across it.
Uh-oh.
Oklahoma's up to number 2 in the Barry Trammell poll.
Oh, God. Oh, God. That means we're actually like the 15th best team in the country, right?
Probably. Yeah, there's like a 14-way tie for first.
Good Lord.
Number 3, right behind Oklahoma, is Florida, 6-1. The Gators' loss was impressive, and the victory over Auburn is mighty.
Ooh, Hazelwood going off this week. Think so?
Hazelwood going off?
Yeah. Sure. He can get some a lot of second half action, I think. Some good touches. That dude's like stud, man. He's big, and like there's so usually with freshmen, they'll show up and you can tell they're freshmen. They're built like freshmen. Hazelwood's not. Like he's fast. He's got body control. Like he looks like a college football player.
If I was surrounded by you cheerleaders wearing the golden hat, I'd be smiling too. Yeah. That's like Corso picking us on game day. I guess that's a reference to Oklahoma being number 2. Whole team needed to see that from him. Fan base did. Whole business-like attitude's great, but it's feeling like he was here purely as a business decision. Now it feels more like he wants to be a part of this university. I think it's a very good point.
Yeah, I mean, usually those kinds of bonds going through that kind of stuff together, 2-a-days, practice and stuff, usually that's
the fan base to Baker Mayfield so much.
Yeah, I mean, usually that's made in the off season in that kind of stuff. It's kind of cool to see it in a game, like it's almost like he really became a Sooner, with that struggle in the Red River Shootout.
In that game with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Planning on going to the game tomorrow, but 11 a.m. games aren't fun road trips.
Yeah, I bet not. I have some traveling to do tomorrow for the game. I have to get out of my bed and then walk to my couch.
You know what? I'm probably just gonna crash on the couch just to cut out that whole walk.
That play, the first half of the UT game where Jalen juked 2 Longhorns out of their jocks. I swear Hurts was a lock for the Heisman. Then the fumble happens right after. The next drive gets picked off in the end zone. What the fuck does a fan make of this? I think in a Heisman discussion, 6 weeks from now or whatever, no one remembers the fumbles as like part of his resume, Like nobody's gonna go, yeah, well he fumbled that one time.
You remember? I swear it happened. I saw it.
I think it's gonna be fine, as long as he. I mean, and to counter that, he also had the highlight that they're gonna show when he goes to New York. That behind the back, like escape the guy, even though his hand's on the ball, like. Pulled it away and then hit a receiver in the chest downfield. I mean, they're going to show that. They're not going to talk about the fumble or the interception.
I'm surprised there wasn't a Facebook group that popped up right after that. I want Jalen Hurts Heisman statue to be the ball around the back or whatever.
I actually saw that tweet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. So it's out.
Done saw it. What's the spread on this Ohio State Northwestern game? Do you know?
No idea. I've got lines up here. Never mind. I can figure it out.
Man, you fucking bailed on that, didn't you?
27. What?
You're just like, no idea.
Then I checked out my
You said 27?
Consensus is 27.
27. It's 38-3 right. It's 38-3 right now, with 12 minutes left.
Ohio State was favored, by the way.
Yes. I'm just thinking this is a 38-3 with 12 minutes left. This is I think ripe for a bad beat.
There's that. Over-under is at 50.
Ooh, same. Jalen has been pretty good with taking care of the ball. I mean, Austin Kendall has one more touchdown than he does interceptions. That is true. That is true. You know, historically, Jalen Hurts has, been good with the football. The most interceptions he threw was his freshman year, when he threw 9. You know how many he's thrown since then?
Less than 9.
6.
Which is less than 9.
Yes. 2017, he had 17 touchdowns and 1 interception. Last year, he had 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And right now, he's at 17 and 3.
That's not bad. Those are numbers I'll take.
Yeah, that's not too shabby.
All right, you entertain the people. I'm stepping away for a sec.
All right. I've got a question. And we'll get Tom's input when he gets back. How many years does Jim Harbaugh last? I think he lasts maybe a year. Maybe, I don't think he's getting fired this year. Maybe next year, though. Yeah. 2 max. Is that including this year in year 2? I just think that they're getting tired of his BS. Depends on the game this year. Ooh. Meaning Ohio State, and I assume if he drops another clunker to Ohio State this year, he's gone. 3 if he doesn't get off scot-free by taking an NFL offer. That's a good point. That's a good point. I've been saying the second Ellis or the second Les Miles came back to coach. He went to Kansas. I think he's just biding his time. I think he was smelling it in the water. I think he turns Kansas in the next couple years into a, 5 or 6 win team, and he jumps to Michigan. I've been saying it since he got that job. 2, the problem is that he wins all the games he's supposed to and loses all the games he's supposed to. However, you can't stay at Michigan if you can't at least beat Ohio State occasionally. That is true. That is absolutely true. Michigan is one of those expectancy fan bases and booster and alumni institutions. Yeah. Counter question, how much longer does Saban last? Yeah, he's like 70 or something. I can't imagine it's very long. Joe C is going to do everything to keep Lincoln, and he should. Dude is legit. He's there's nobody I would rather have. Nobody. I can say that. If somebody said, okay, well, Saban kind of wants the Oklahoma job, I would tell him to jump in a creek. I got my guy. His memory is insane. Yeah, have you been watching the Teddy Lehman trying to stump him thing? That's incredible. I love that. I think that's so cool. He should absolutely hand Lincoln a blank check. I don't think that's legal as a public official. He's a publicly paid person. But yes, he should do that anyway. Blank check, and like one of those big ones that has extra space in the money part so they can put more zeros. Absolutely. People talking mad trash about him in Dallas. Oh my gosh. Man. I don't know. Who wants to go from being the guy at Oklahoma, an all-time institution in college football, everyone loves you, to go to be under the thumb of Jerry Jones? Who wants that? You couldn't pay me enough money in the world. Yeah, well, you could pay me enough money. You could not pay me enough money if I was already the coach at Oklahoma. I don't care. Give me one of those big ones. Yes, exactly.
Ooh.
Sounds like Tom's coming back.
Nah, he's bailing on this shit.
So I posed a question off the just from the hip. How many years does Harbaugh last, or how long does Harbaugh last?
At Michigan?
Yeah.
Or in life?
No, just like stays alive, Tom. No, of course at Michigan.
At Michigan? Ooh.
Yes.
I just want to make sure we're on the page here. Not the other one with the Ravens, right?
Tom, I'm about to fight you.
How long does Harbaugh at Michigan last? If he's not gone this year, he'll be gone after next.
Yeah, see, I thought not this year, but next year. And then, that seems to be the consensus. We got a 2, a 3. We got one. Rev up in this piece, I think, said that if he loses the game this year, then he's done.
Especially if it's like an embarrassing loss.
Yeah, just like a real stinker.
I know there were, towards the end of the Mac Brown era, I was wanting Oklahoma to just be beating Texas so bad that they just fired him at halftime.
Yes.
Of course, that never came to.
No.
But yeah, I mean, this team I don't think has finished higher than third in the division, let alone competed for conference titles or national titles. And his, to me, his act is wearing kind of thin.
Yeah. After the Harbaugh's talk, we got into Riley and keeping him and Cowboys and all that rigmarole. Mm-hmm. Red Hawk says, besides the money and everything, why would Lincoln want to take over a team with Dak at quarterback? And that's funny, but it's also a very important point. Why would he want to go make similar money to coach a team where he doesn't get control of who is playing for him? Do you know what I mean?
There's a hell of a lot less job security in it too.
Well, yeah, I mean that was my original point. Was like if I was already the coach at Oklahoma, the head coach at Oklahoma, you could not pay me enough money to go be under Jerry Jones' thumb. Like you're head honcho, you're CEO right now. Mm-hmm. You go to the Dallas Cowboys, you're not. You're down a few pegs in the hierarchy. I don't know why you would do that.
That's a fact right there. If they pay Dak $30 million a year, he's got better job security than Lincoln.
Absolutely. Ohio State plays at Michigan this season. At this point, that means Harbaugh will be sacked then. Will be sacked then because Buckeyes are going to roll Michigan in their own house. What's the size of that house? Tom?
It's not small. It's not
That's
medium.
right. That's right. It's a big house. It is a big house. It's a big house.
I was gonna say large. Is
No, I
where I
think,
was going, but big house. Big house will work.
yeah. I always had the thought that Riley will stay at OU until he stops loving to recruit. Yeah, I think he likes that. I think he likes recruiting. He's good at it. He understands social media. He understands like the new way of doing things. And like I said, at the end of the day, he gets to pick his players. He's not just saying, some dumbass in some war room drafted a wide receiver in the first round and is like, nope, here's your guy. Like make it work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I feel like a head coach in the NFL has far less control than a head coach in college football over the program.
Oh, 100%. And Ohio State just scored again.
Yeah, I just saw that. So
Follow up. How long does Scott Frost last at Nebraska?
I think Nebraska's just giving him a long leash. I mean, what do they got to lose? Like, they don't have anything to lose. He's a alum, hometown guy, right? Mm-hmm. He is a good coach. I think they give him a while.
Well, I think what he was bringing the program back from is one thing. Also, with college football, you got to give a guy a chance to bring in his kind of talent.
Yeah.
For his system.
Yeah, and that takes a while.
Overnight. You can't do that overnight. You can't do that in a year. You can't, even really do that in 2.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have a couple of good recruiting cycles, to bring in your guys essentially, because the guys that were there from the previous regime, might not be best suited for the kind of football that you want to play.
Right. Yeah. No, you're exactly right.
So, if I had to lay down a bet right now, Scott Frost takes the field when Oklahoma plays Nebraska.
Yeah.
As head coach.
I agree.
Tomorrow is
I agree.
33.5, something like that.
Yeah, I think the last time I saw it was like 33.5. 33.5, 34.5, something like that. Do you think Oklahoma covers?
I think it's probably a 28-point game. I don't know that they get to the 33, 35, but
yeah, I don't think so either. What's the weather look like?
When the lines get that big, it's kind of, I get kind of leery. It's like, no, that's probably a bit much. Watch Oklahoma go out and win 69-1 or whatever that scoregami was we were talking earlier.
Yeah. What's the weather like up there tomorrow? I heard it was going to be possible rain.
I think it's rain early before the game.
Gotcha.
Nothing during it.
Nothing that would affect that spread.
No.
I've got some picks in to bet tomorrow, so I'll have that to look forward to. After the butt whipping.
Are you gonna clue us in on these, or are you just?
I'm bringing it up, Tom.
That you lost all your money.
Yeah, that's for sure. So I've got Illinois plus 31. Right.
Who are they playing?
They're playing. Okay, I'm just gonna bring up this thing.
That's for the best.
I'm bringing it up on my computer and set my phone.
But I imagine that 31, it's kind of like we're talking, like that's just such a big spread in a conference game that...
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, I guess I didn't realize Ohio State, Wisconsin is next week.
So, Wisconsin at Illinois. 31. I think that's a low-scoring game.
Mm-hmm.
Lower. I have Akron at home plus 17.5. I'm sure you all are very up to date in Akron football. I have Tennessee covering plus 34.5.
That's Alabama, right?
That's at Alabama, yes. I have Louisville covering plus 23.5. Looks like that one's come. Well, actually, Vegas consensus is actually up to 24. But then I have Coastal Carolina, Army, and I actually do have West Virginia covering at 34. So.
Oh, boo this man. Traitor to the cause.
Ducks, Huskies, who you got? I got Ducks. Oregon's good.
We got some people not buying Wisconsin, not buying what Wisconsin is selling.
I mean, maybe if they come up against a good defense. I don't know if I'm sold on the offense, but that defense is insane. Like, that defense is, it doesn't matter who you're playing, that defense is impressive. Like, it doesn't matter who they've played. And they've, played Michigan. So, I don't know. That defense is absolutely 100% legit, iron, lockdown, crazy. And now, if they have to score some points to get, they can score 30 points to win a game, maybe. But I don't know.
Hasn't faced a better than 40th ranked offense. When I first read that, I read it 400th, and I was like, that's way wrong. So maybe I need to take some reading classes here. Maybe I need my glasses.
I don't know. That's the whole, like, okay. Here we go. I got you.
Uh-oh. This is about to pick up here. Someone got really upset that Wisconsin was being insulted in his chat.
Oh.
Hey, Rev is looking for cheap tickets. He's trying to talk his wife into a hall pass to OU football. Put out the call on Twitter for him.
Oh, okay. Tweet it out and I'll retweet it. Tag me in it.
Why do I feel like Blinkin is about to put me on the bus?
Okay,
we think the Ducks are maybe pretty good. We'll get to that in a second, but here we go.
Well, right now SP Plus has Wisconsin as the number 2 defense in the country, and SP Plus is adjusted for opponent. So there you go. There's still probably some of their recruiting that's factored into that this early in the season. So that's probably why they're at number 2.
Are we early in the season still?
I think so. Kinda.
The season's halfway over.
Yeah. I mean, as an analytics, like, ratings thing, yeah. 5 or 6 games is not enough to really bank on.
Well, when you play 12, like, when does that shit stabilize?
Well,
when can you start taking it seriously? So
I don't know.
Your numbers
at least 6 games in.
You what?
At least 6 games in. Well, no, if you hadn't like interrupted me, there are other things that go into that, and as the season progresses, those become less and less part of the formula. Does that make sense? Like things like recruiting.
When they're doing like preseason stuff, is there like a preseason S&P,
Mm-hmm.
SP?
Mm-hmm.
What goes into that? Is it last year stuff? Is it objections?
It's returning production and 4-year recruiting. So, what production do you have coming back? Like how did these players that are coming back perform? And it's a combination of that and what your 4-year recruiting numbers look like. So, since recruiting probably is still being factored in at this point, I think that's probably why Oregon has an edge over Wisconsin, but it's not much of an edge. I mean, one of them's 10.7 and one of them's 10.9. So the lower score better on the defensive rating. So
Ohio State with the over on their own.
Phew.
That loss to Auburn is confusing to me. Maybe first week weirdness. Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah. Well, and their quarterback was trash the entire game, and then miraculously could throw a football and made a couple of big plays that sealed the deal. I mean, and then afterwards became trash again. It was like Auburn Cinderella or something.
5 and 6 games are versus non-conference, and most teams play Popcorn State. I guess that's in reference to the rankings. I'm more of a Popcorn Tech guy myself. Watched the game. Auburn came out after that with their hair on fire. Fresh quarterback at his best quarter of the season in the fourth quarter. Yeah, no, football's a funny game.
Football's weird, and you can ratings all you want to. You can try to predict things, but the single thing that is most effective or most influential on a single game is also the most random statistic. Turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
There are teams that are, probably better at turnovers than others, but largely that statistic is random. But also it has a huge effect on the outcome of a single game. And so that's why college football is so hard to predict. One of the reasons, a turnover at just the right time can, one, just be pure luck, and two, decide the football game. Ratings be damned. Popcorn State hadn't played nobody. Popcorn Tech had a hell of a team last year.
You think tomorrow is the game where the Oklahoma defense embraces the randomness and finally gets those 2, 3, 4 turnovers?
I can see him getting a couple, yeah. Just because they're bad.
West Virginia?
Yeah.
Not the defense is bad, not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good.
Yeah.
I forgot to say Paul. That's always Blinkin's thing. My apologies. I don't know how many tweets I've seen of him doing that. You are typing away over there. You got something for us here?
Yeah. Oh, man.
What got you on the A&M thing the other day?
Somebody tweeted at me. It was like, is this like the most A&M thing? And it got me thinking, what is the most A&M thing that you've ever seen? Somebody just tweeted at me. Let's see. It was in that original one. Let's see. Let's go find it. I love how Aggie Fact Thursday is like a thing Twitter knows to pull up. Yeah, it was talk to an Aggie football player who has a ring he said is, quote, a 2010-2012 Big 12 championship ring. We tied Nebraska and OU that year. Is giving a championship ring to a game that you didn't attend but were beat by, or where you beat both participants, the most Aggie thing ever? And I said it was up there. And then I asked the question, what is the most Aggie thing ever?
Okay, and that's where it went.
Yeah.
That post gave me cancer. Internet cancer, I mean.
Wait, which post? Oh, the like is Reveille there? I'm really interested to see if Reveille and Fisher have a natural bond, and if Fisher willingly reaches out. Reveille is a huge part of our university and football programs, so if she has an instant affinity for Coach Fisher, I think that will speak volumes to our recruits. If you could, please take and post video of their initial encounter. Any still shots of Coach Fisher petting Reveille would also be appreciated. Would prefer if taken from the side so I can see as much of as much as possible of both of their faces.
How did they get anybody to go to school there?
Well, it's the relationship. Didn't you hear what I just said? It's the relationship between the dog and the coach.
How many?
That's like, big for recruits.
How many recruits do you think show up on campus and be like, listen, I'm not talking to the Jimbo Fisher. I'm talking to the dog.
Swear to God, if this dog doesn't like this coach, I'm going to Texas.
If you do not bring me that collie right this second.
So I posted that was the initial one. Then I posted my, a couple of other favorites.
Then it spiraled.
Yeah. Squeeze Ags. It's one of those things that people they can't believe that it's true,
I'm going to say over on Jimbo lasting more than 3 years.
Yeah.
3 more years at A&M.
Yeah.
I'm going to say he has 0 national championships in that time.
Reveille enters the transfer portal.
Popcorn State bought USC's vacated national championship. Oh man, can you imagine how different that game would have been? Had the BCS not screwed Popcorn State?
Oh man.
I tell you, I'll tell you if we did have internet cancer, that might have cured it right there. Those last 2 comments.
But yeah, I don't know actually which one is worse. The guy who wants to know Reveille's reaction, the Squeeze Ags, or Texas A&M awarding Jimbo Fisher an FCS championship with an undetermined year. I don't know. The more I think about that might be the worst one. I'm in internet remission. Oh, man. You think we didn't dodge a major bullet by not signing Leon O'Neal? He was just so taken by the relationship that Reveille and Jimbo
really
had.
Spoke to him.
Yes.
I'm just here for the wisecracks, aren't we all?
Yes, aren't we all? All right. What do you think, Tom? Final thoughts?
Oklahoma wins by about 28 tomorrow. I think we may see the most complete game of the season.
All right.
Well, I guess they're all complete games. They finished them all.
I think we know what you mean, Tom.
Okay.
Good performance.
The first one to jump
sound
on like that, though.
Yes, absolutely.
So
100%.
I'm covering my bases on this one.
I think I'm gonna say, solid victory. Probably a couple turnovers. Make Coach Grinch happy. Maybe see Spencer Rattler at some point.
Please make that guy happy. Like everything he's done for us over the last 6-7 weeks.
Yeah, no joke.
That's the very least we can do for him.
Yeah. But all right, y'all. We will talk to you later. Boomer Sooner. Let's do it.
Later, guys.